Hello again, this is Jo, and I've been prompted to create a few more videos today, so this is the first one. And what I've been guided to talk about is this shift to 5D, what it is, and perhaps why it's happening, and what you can expect, maybe to help you make sense of what you're experiencing at the moment. So I'm just going to go with whatever comes to me and hope that it resonates with the people that need to hear it. Whenever they need to hear it, they'll find it. So this process of shifting into 5D, or ascending as people like to call it, can be a very confusing process. You don't know what the hell's going on. Quite often the people around you don't understand what's going on for you. They can mistake it as health concerns, mental health, emotional health concerns. And this is because you've probably incarnated with a load of people who are very 3D, and you've incarnated for a reason with them people, to learn and understand more about the 3D so that you better know what you're dealing with when it comes to shifting it, but also to clear the family lines and the community lines of energy. So as a high vibrational being, which is what I believe you are, that's why I'm talking to you, that's why you're hearing me. You have come here because you know that you can shift this 3D stuff. You know it's not you at a soul level, and you know that you're here to shift it. And so what would be the point in incarnating in a circle with loads of other really high vibrational 5D or above beings? There would be no point whatsoever. How much change would you be able to affect by doing that? None. So your soul has been very, very wise, even though it might feel a bit shit for you in your human form. This is exactly what you've come here to do. So you will be in very dense circumstances for a reason, and you're not to let that put you off. So that's the first thing that I feel drawn to say. So 5D is a higher vibrational consciousness. It's nothing to do with the physical reality. A lot of people talk about 3D as though that's the physical, and 5D as though that's some kind of other energy, but actually the physical reality is kind of neutral from my own perspective, and what we project onto it through ourselves is what creates it, if that makes sense. So we can create the physical reality in any which way that we choose to. So we can either be projecting through 3D, or we can be projecting through 5D. Now we have come here as part of this shift to get rid of the 3D and to project through 5D, to bring peace, to bring love, to bring unity consciousness, to bring freedom. But in order to do that, we have to clear the 3D stuff, which is fear and hate and pain, control, manipulation, where you're told what you can and can't do, where limitations are imposed upon you, restrictions because of your race, your gender, your social background, your financial circumstances. That's all 3D control and manipulation. And it's very convincing, especially because, you know, once we get into this dense physical body, we can forget easily who we really are, but the process of remembering is the important thing. And so this ascension, or this shift to 5D that people are experiencing now, and I've talked about sections of the population that go through this, and it happens in phases. So you're in a particular phase now. So not everybody's going through it. So it does make sense that people around you don't have a clue what you're going on about. Some of them might never have any idea what you're going on about. That doesn't make it any less true. And so I've lost my train of thought a little bit now. So going back, I was talking about shifting to 5D. We are here to create this new reality. We are here to free this planet from the control clutches of the 3D. And we do that by processing the 3D stuff that we have taken on as a soul. So what can happen very often is we may have struggles in our physical life from being very young, and we find kind of 3D ways of overcoming them. So perhaps if we suffer from anxiety, as an example, then we can find ways of working around that. So we might take some medication. We may find ways of coping with it by perhaps avoiding certain situations or having certain survival type mechanisms. So only going to the shops at a certain time when you know it will be quiet, for example. So those are kind of 3D ways around the issues. But what happens when we start to shift to 5D and all of this incoming energy that is coming down to earth now is to help us to shift. And so as we start to shift towards 5D, as we start to raise our vibration, this stuff that we thought that we'd dealt with, like the anxiety that I just mentioned, comes back with a vengeance in a way. We can sit there thinking, oh my goodness, I thought I had dealt with this. Why am I having to do it again? Have I done something wrong? No, you haven't done anything wrong. You coped with it in the 3D way at the time, so you learned about the 3D as you were doing it. But it doesn't serve you anymore to live that way because it's still a 3D restriction, because you just found a way of coping with it rather than actually healing it. And the whole point of this high vibrational energy that's coming in is to heal it, to transmute, to neutralize this 3D energy once and for all. And you as a star being have chosen to come here to do that on behalf of the planet, because you know you can, because you know you're powerful, because you know that the kind of native humans down here don't know how to do that, and so we're helping them with it and we're freeing them from the 3D. And so all of your 3D stuff can take you by surprise, and it can be relentless. It certainly has been for me, where you're literally feeling like you're fighting fire because everything comes up. If it's not all at once, then it's one after another, and you've got stuff going on in your physical world, you've got emotional stuff, you've got physical ailments, you've got mental ailments that are all coming up, like I said, with a vengeance. And it's your job to clear it. So the shift to 5D is not about going out there and helping people. It's about you doing it for yourself. And you can do it for yourself. Yes, sometimes we need a bit of help. I did, we all do. Especially with the real stubborn things, but you know, we find the right people to do that at the time when we need it. But the majority of this you can do yourself, and the whole point of shifting to 5D is to find your power as a soul. And so you need to find ways of clearing the energy for yourself, clearing the 3D energy, not finding a way around it, not a way of dodging or avoiding it. The time has gone for all of that now. It is time to clear that energy once and for all. And so this is why I talk about the violet flame in my energetic shift group and in the webinars that I have done in the past. And I feel like I may be drawn to doing something similar again, webinar wise, so that you can experience what the flame healing feels like and what it does. Because what you need to do is use things like that to help you to clear your own energy. Now, when I was going through the particularly intense periods of my 3D stuff coming up, I could do the flame healing pretty much constantly all day. So it really was like fighting fire, clearing this stuff out. Being conscious of what's coming up, being conscious of what's triggering your anxiety, for example. Instead of just going, oh my God, I feel anxious, I can't cope, I'm panicking. Try to settle back in and think, right, what's triggered this? What belief am I holding that is making me feel anxious? So there's a belief that goes underneath this energy, this emotion that comes up, and it's that belief and the energy underneath it that we need to clear. And that's why the flame healing and crystal healing is really, really good for that. I know that there are other ways of doing it, they're not my ways, so I can't really talk about it. So you may well have other ways, but the ways that I have done it is with crystal healing and with the energy healing, the flame healing. So if we look at the anxiety, for example, you may feel the feelings of anxiety coming up, but as you sort of try to keep yourself calm and anchored and grounded as those feelings come up, and then question, why do I feel like that? What is it that's triggering that? And you may well be surprised to realise that it's not actually what you thought it was. So something in the physical might trigger that, but actually the belief underneath it is something that's seemingly unrelated. Now the example that they're giving me is to do with money. So I'm going to see if they're going to give me a little bit more information so that I can explain it to you. So anxiety may come up about money, about a feeling of lack, about not having enough money, not being able to pay the bills, or losing a job, for example. And that stuff could feel very real, but that's very 3D, but the underlying cause of it may well be a belief that I don't deserve to have abundance. Particularly if, for example, again, you've had past lives within like a Christian faith, for example, and you've taken on the belief that, you should be living with like a vow of poverty. So that's just one example. So you need to, basically 5D is becoming conscious of the 3D stuff that's holding you back. So you need to become conscious and aware. Now that gets easier the further you go through it, because you kind of get practiced at it. So you kind of have to unravel it all for yourself. Be open-minded and be proactive too. So staying grounded helps you to not panic and to see things clearly, and it helps you then to shift the energy so that you can do something about it. So kind of the worst thing that you can do is just sit and wait for it to pass. If you can be more proactive about making this negative energy pass, you'll shift through a lot quicker. And so I feel really, really drawn now to talk about kind of the benefits of being proactive on this journey. What happens is, as this energy supports us to release this stuff and we clear it ourselves and we become aware of what it is that's holding us back, the false beliefs that we're carrying, we make space then for our own soul to step forward. The 3D blocks our access to our soul. And so every time we manage to shed some 3D energy, beliefs, patterns, we make a bit more space for our soul to drop in. And people are starting, I've had people come in to me to tell me this is happening for them now. So please know that the work that you're putting in will pay off. It might not feel like it at the moment, but it will pay off. So moments as your soul starts to drop in, it happens bit by bit. It's a gradual shift from 3D to 5D. And so as you shift closer and closer to 5D consciousness, you become more and more aware of your soul. Bit by bit, things drop in, sudden realizations. And so as you clear the energy, you become aware, well, I believed that for so long. Why do I believe that? You may not have realized that you believed it, and then you suddenly are aware of it. And as soon as you're aware of it, it's got no control over you anymore. Some, bigger kind of 3D lessons that you've perhaps taken on may take a bit longer, bit more difficult, may take a few more goes to shift. And usually those big ones are the ones that your soul has deliberately chosen rather than kind of accidentally picked up through past life activity to shift on behalf of the planet. I believe that star beings have all, it's like they all had a big meeting before they've come down. It's like, right, who's going to take this? Who's going to take that? I'll take this. You take that. You shift that bit. I'll shift this bit. And together we've got it all covered. And this is why I was talking about in one of the other videos about people who are in the first wave. If they're not ready to drop their stuff yet, then people are going to start to move on, and that wave will go on without them. They'll sort of kind of be relegated back to the second. And it's because we've got to keep this momentum going. It all fits together. So, as you shift 3D energy, your 5D consciousness of your soul drops in. You become more aware of your gifts and your abilities. You become more aware of what it is that your soul actually wants you to do, why you've come here, and you become aware of what your soul truly wants for you in this physical life. Your soul does not want you to feel like crap. So I know from my own perspective, I felt a little bit betrayed sometimes, that my intuition would kind of send me into things that would hurt me in some way or another, like it'd bring up some crappy stuff for me. But that's because your soul is pushing you into things to make you clear this stuff, but also because the direction it's pushing you in is the way that you need to go, and you have to shift the fear in order to get there. So if you're feeling like that, where you feel like you've been duped a little bit, you haven't. You will have been pushed that way for a reason, and you need to find a way to kind of overcome those fears by clearing the energy. So there is so much positive stuff on the other side of dealing with all of this fear. Shifting into that 5D consciousness helps you to create your physical reality the way that you want it. So if you've always struggled with wealth, for example, perhaps you've always struggled with manifesting wealth, or perhaps you've always had to work really, really hard for wealth. Your soul knows the truth that there is no limit to abundance, and you can create anything that you want to, and you don't need to struggle and work really, really hard just in order to deserve to scrape by. And so you can choose from your soul then to live in a way that you want to manifest things in a way that you want to. The 3D distorts that. We cannot see it, and that's why we need to clear it so that we can project that 5D consciousness into our reality. As you do it, the other members of your group, your collective, are doing it. You may not know these people in the physical, but it'll be other people who are watching this video now. They will all be doing this at the same time as you for a reason. And as you start to create your 5D reality, they are starting to create their 5D reality. And that is how we create what they are calling New Earth. A new Earth is our physical reality down here on Earth, based upon 5D consciousness. This 5D consciousness, from the information that I have channeled, has never been created in a physical way before. So this is a really important project. This is why it feels like hell. Because it's not been done before. But we are doing it. All of the signs are showing us that we are doing it. So I hope this brings you a little bit of comfort to know that it is working, that what's happening for you is happening for other people, that you're not alone, and that you're part of something really, really important, and your soul has chosen to come and do it because your soul knows that you can. It may not feel like it at the moment, but things are going to be a lot easier and better and clearer for you than they have ever been in this physical lifetime before. So please trust what your intuition wants you to do. Please clear and ground and protect your energy as much as you can. Really, really look after yourself, and don't be distracted by what's going on outside in the physical world, because there are a lot of people who are still operating in 3D and they will not get it, they will not understand it, and they don't need to, because your truth is why you've come here. So please focus on that, and please trust in the people who are on the same journey as you, what their experiences are, what I'm telling you, what the other people in the group are sharing as well. So there are links below for all different kinds of things, but the group that I'm talking about is the Energetic Shift group on Facebook, so you're very welcome to join that. I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you again in the next one.